So this is the first day in December trading, and I look to see a somewhat volatile and slower sort of month because of the Christmas holidays, and we shall see how it goes. So it's been interesting this morning. I can see the opening chart here is pretty flat through here. We had a dip and then a rise yesterday. It ended up pretty much where it ended off. And it went up, but then it hit resistance and dropped back down. We've got some supports going on here. It's just not really moving very much this morning. Here's the 4-hour chart you can see, and we are still holding above this gold SMA, this 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart. So even though it dipped down below it, it immediately came back above it. So that does not really count as breaking support. So that support now is actually right at that red line, and you can see it's bounced off of that a couple times. So, all right, here we are. I decided it has held that support at that line, and this might be a good time to do a long. So I put in a long order, got filled right here. And I went ahead and put my stop order in to protect any losses. Went up a little ways, but then it hit that gold SMA on the short-term chart, dropped back down, and I got stopped out. And I would say this is a good trade, even though I lost money, simply because I had my proper protection in, and I didn't allow it to just drop down and lose as much money as possible. So I did see this as breaking support, at least on the short term. It needs to break it a little bit more than that in order to really show a downturn at this point. So I'm watching, waiting. It is seemed to be bouncing off that point. I went ahead and did a short. Let's see, where did I do that short? I did the short right here, because it seemed to be hitting that and dropping down. The MACD is not looking good. So doing a short here actually, I don't know. At this point, I kind of realized, probably not a good idea, because it went above that gold SMA. And we have 30 seconds to the opening bell. I'm feeling especially, tolerant of risk this morning. So I held on. I don't have a stop. All right, at opening bell, I think this is kind of interesting. It did drop down, and I felt like that was a pretty good sign that it was going to drop. And it did a little bit more, and it dropped a little bit more, and I got back all of my losses. And I've got to figure out what I did here. Hang on a second. All right, so at the end of that short trade, it looks like I actually did a reverse at that point. And now I'm in a long. So I would say that was probably not the best place to get in a long in hindsight. Getting in a long in general at this point is probably not too bad, but I want to wait and see what's happening first. Getting out of that position, getting out of my short, actually, I think that was probably a good thing, but it was just a little too soon to get in a long. All right, so I'm in a oh, wow. Okay, so I switched positions again. So you can see I just like have whiplash this morning. So it went up, and then I did a reverse sort of order again. And now I'm in a short again. And I'm increasing my profits by doing this quick turnaround trading here, which is not a bad thing. Here I'm in a short, and I have a limit order, which then got filled, maybe? No. It did not get filled, and it probably came back up again. And I lost, $100. But here I have a stop and a limit set in place to protect myself. And I got stopped out. Now I've whittled my profits down to $100 again, and I'm on my 5th trade, which is a long one at this point. And again, I'm not sure that this is the best place for a long trade at this moment. So I would say, even though I'm kind of protecting myself from too much loss or gain, I'm not trading super well this morning. Okay, so I'm flat. This is an order that's left over as a residue from a previous order. I'm at a small profit. Now, okay, now I got another short right here. I've got my linked orders, or two protective orders set, and a hopeful one and a protective one there. I'm in the green here and nearly got stopped out there. And then I did get stopped out. So now I've lost all the profit. I'm down to $12.50 and I've made 6 trades. Again, this is a residue order that I'm going to cancel here in a second. Okay, so now I'm just kind of thinking, what is going on? And if you look at the longer term chart over here, you can see it definitely bounced and it's going up. You can see that on both of these 15-minute chart and the 30-minute chart. And so I would say, yes, it's probably going up. And I want to be in a long. So I put in a long order way down here. And it's like probably not going to get filled anytime soon. This is very encouraging because it went up above the blue line and it broke the ceiling there. It broke that resistance. So that's actually a good sign that it's going to go up. I just got to look for the perfect moment to get in. And as this gold SMA turns up, I'm raising my order to match it. And when these lines almost cross, you can see on my order is like right in between the two. And there it dropped down and I got filled. But I accidentally had 2 orders filled. So, and that would never happen in real trading because you don't probably have enough money in the account to do that. If you do, then you are going to double the amount of money you lose or make. I just don't feel comfortable doing that much trading myself. So I went ahead and placed an exit order, an ending order, just 1 tick above, just so I covered my commissions. So it was a fair fight here. And I'm going to be in a single long position here, and I've got my limit order set, no stop. And the reason I'm not doing a stop here is because at this point I am almost certain that it is going to continue to go up. It's looking pretty bullish. And I chickened out before I got to that point. It kind of had a downturn, so I went ahead and got out and locked in a little bit of profit. Okay, and I decided to write it down. I'm doing really short-term trades here. And I did a short for this little jog here, and I did a reverse by doing 2 orders here, which I know I talked about last month as really not being the best scenario. You really don't want to get out and get in, or get in and get out, depending on what you're doing, at the same point. It's usually not the same point that's best. Okay, so this time I did do that because it does seem to be bouncing off of this new support level now, which is the gold SMA. And so I did a reverse order right here, and now I'm in a long, and it went up, and I've got my exit order in, and now I've done 10 trades, and I've made 300. Now 10 trades at $6.88 a trade is almost $70 worth of commissions. It's going to come out of this amount right here. That's important to remember that, because with futures trading, they do charge per trade. And it can add up if you're doing tons and tons of trades. That's why I don't like to do this many. But, all right, so let's see, the time is 10 o'clock. I probably could have stopped here. I was having some fun, so I just kept going. And I happened to notice, I missed this somehow, that Chairman Powell from the Federal Reserve was going to speak. And so it's like, oh, that's why all of a sudden it's moving very fast. And you can see all of a sudden it went up and down and then up. And I'm thinking, oh my word, what's going on? So I opened the screen there and copied that. I was looking for like a time that he was going to be speaking, and I did eventually find it. It was, I think, 11 o'clock. So it was like an hour away yet. So I still don't quite know why it moved that fast. All right, but it went up and it hit this ceiling here, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I thought, well, I think it's probably going to go down for a little while. I tried to get in a short, and I, as you can see, I've done my my linked trades. So when I put in my order, it automatically puts in these two. It's protective that will cancel each other out if they get filled. I put in my short order, and I didn't get filled for quite a while. It went down and then up, and it caught it, unfortunately, down here, and then it went up, and I think I got stopped out. Yes, I got stopped out here. And so I put in another order to hopefully get filled to do long. And I did. And I got filled at a long position. The MACD was pretty high here. It was on that last slide, if you see, it was looking like it was just about to tip up and go up. But you can see up here that it's ready for maybe a little bit of a drop. And so this probably wasn't the best place to get in. It's also very, very near the support. Even though it's very bullish right here, it's already hit that support, and I'm almost to that point. So, getting in along here is probably not the best place to get in. And of course, it dropped down and lost all my profits, and it bounced off the gold SMA. And I was kind of watching it at this point. It's like, yeah, I think it'll be okay. And so I did something really risky and very daring, and I wouldn't suggest normally doing this. But this is the reason I did. At this point, the MACD is now down below the average line. It's crossed. It's looking very good. We've had a very bullish morning since Fed chairman came out, and it's only 10 o'clock. And I figured, okay, the next really good support, and you can see this on the 30-minute chart, we hit it over here a couple days ago. That peak, I put in a purple price line right here. And I figured, the likelihood of it getting up to that point is probably pretty good. It has to get through this this resistance level first, but it's looking like it probably will. So I went ahead and placed an exit order way up here and just let it ride and kind of watched it. And I found here the time it came out, 11 a.m. At this point, I decided, okay, he's going to speak at 11. And it seemed to have gone up when the news started coming out about him speaking. So even though it kind of fluctuated a little bit, I was kind of thinking it's probably going to go up. And so I walked away from it for a couple hours. And then I got an alert on my phone that it had gone up to that point, and it was almost noon at that point. And you can see it went up in zigzag motion. And I rode it all the way up, and it went up to that purple line, and it got me out, and I made what's showing here as $1,000 profit for the day. When you take out my commissions, it actually ended up being $917.44. So you can tell me if you think that was just dumb luck or if that was good trading. I don't know, but I'm happy that it worked out. It could have gone the other way too. And I set alerts. So when it goes above this point right here, it will bing, and I will know that it's really gained momentum. If it drops below this point here, which is the blue SMA, and this last peak here, then it will also bing, and I will be alerted that, oh, it's dropping. So that will also help me just kind of keep an eye on things and watch.